In this MMS Tech Byte, I will be going over how to set up the attendance areas and the parent and student portals. This is the third of 6 Tech Bytes on this setup operation. This setup is done in MMS Generations. You will find it in the School Management Jobs, Operations, and Setup Parent-Student Portal. We are going to be setting up both the daily attendance and the class attendance in this Tech Byte. We're going to start with our daily attendance. So I just selected attendance from my list on the left, and currently attendance is not activated for my parents and students. So I'm going to click on that to activate that, and we have 4 tabs to go through. So first, for the school events, oh, that's why I didn't have that one checked. I don't have school events information in my database, so I am going to leave that unchecked. But for school events, we're going to indicate the calendar to use, and then the starting day and month for that school events. Next, we're going to see the school calendar, and that is currently activated for my parents and students. We're going to indicate the calendar. Now, if you have multiple calendars used in your database, you will only be able to select one calendar for all of your students. Just something to be mindful of. So the district calendar, I do have multiple calendars, but the district calendar is my main calendar. And my school year goes from, not July, it starts in August, and it goes through June of 2015. Then in daily history, again, we have the ability to activate this information for our parents. Again, we're going to set a date range. Generally, we have the beginning of the year to the end of the year. That way you don't have to come in here and keep modifying that, but you can keep modifying this if you so choose. And then you can select which data you want to include for the daily attendance. You have the ability of entering in 2 comment codes. So these are predetermined comments. And you have the first time in or out and the second time in or out, and then also the note field. The last is the daily attendance totals. And again, here's our activation box. We can see the daily codes that you want to include in this. And if you want to select multiple codes, I'm just holding down my control key, and I can deselect some codes as well as reselect or add to the list that's there. We can set to include students for the following attendance code, whether we want for days, sessions present, sessions absent, times tardy, dismissed, and when they were non-members. Non-members is in the situation if you have a student that leaves your school, and so they have a withdrawal code and date, but then at a later time during that school year, they come back to your school and are enrolled again. So during that time they were gone, those are considered non-member days. You can also select register codes to base the report on. And also the data, you have the choice as to which data you want to select. You can display the student's entry, withdrawal, and reentry data, possible days present, number of days present, excused absences, unexcused, times tardy, times dismiss, and non-member. Just be aware that if you have possible days and days present, if you have the dates set for your entire school year, MMS will have days present be the same as days possible with subtracting out any current absences they may have. So if you're at day 100 and the student has perfect attendance so far, the days present is going to have 180 days or however many days you have in your school calendar. So that's something to be mindful and be prepared for questions from your parents. So here we also have additional school notes that you can enter in on that entry page. So I'm going to flip over to, I'm going to minimize this and go back to my parent portal, and I'm going to switch to my daily attendance, and if I click on daily history, Here is the message that I have where click here for the district's attendance policy. And here is my student's history. And you see here that even though I am in March, my days present is 210. So that shows up automatically on the report. And that is all I have for attendance, daily attendance. Now we're going to switch over to class attendance. And there's a little bit less set up in here. Again, we have our activation for the class attendance for the website. And here are the areas that we can rename how we want the verbiage to go. So we have our day date, we have the activity, the period that the attendance occurred, the course section, the course name, and the teacher name. And we have the ability to include the teacher email if you so choose. We have our beginning date and ending date of the range that we want to have class attendance displayed for, and we have our attendance codes. So I'm only going to include absent, dismissed, and tardy. And also we have the periods that we want to display for. So I have periods 1 through 7. And then we have our class totals. Again, we can activate or not activate either tab. We can indicate how we select class attendance, whether it's once per class or once per period. If it was once per period and I had a course that lasted 2 periods long, I would have an attendance code for each period that the class was in session. And here we can enter in an item description for our course section, our course name, and teacher name. And again, we can include the teacher email. We have our date range. We have our class attendance codes that we can pull in. And then we have the terms that we wish to consider for having courses displayed. We hope you found this Tech Byte informative.